In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to grow peas in Farming Simulator 25. Let's get into it. Right, the first thing we need to plant peas is a seeder. So let's come into the seeder category in the vehicle menu. We are going to get a direct drill. Okay, so any of these will do direct drill, so no previous cultivating or ploughing is necessary. So it basically just means that we can go straight in. So let's just go for middle of the range option, potentially 240 horsepower. Yes, this guy will do it, and it'll take seed and fertilizer. And you can see down there the green beans icon, so this will signify that you're able to plant green beans. So let's go ahead and grab this guy, and we're just going to leave everything as standard. We're just going to go ahead and lease it, and then in the seeding section we're going to buy some seeds. So let's just go 2 pallets of seed, and then we're going to grab some fertilizer as well from the yield improvement section, which is just below. So solid fertilizer. Alright, so here it is here, and let's get this guy filled up. So we'll fill this guy up and then we'll come back in. Alright, so all you need to do is drive alongside your pallets, okay, and it'll detect the item, or at least it should. So if it doesn't, what you need to do is open the cover. First you need to unfold the tool or seeder. Oh, that's painful. Let's try this. So let's unfold the seeder, and let's go refill. So that's got the fertilizer going in, so that's the first one. Next one's fertilizer, so next one should be the seed. So hopefully we've got the right seed. Should be right. Alright, now we're underway, so let's get this guy filled and then we'll come back in. Alright, we're all full, so I'm going to fold this guy. I'm going to double check our seed types. So you can see there by pressing triangle in L1 we've got peas, so this is the right one. Alright, so let's head back to our field. So we're all prepped and ready to go, and we'll get some peas in the ground, so I'll see you over there. Alright, here we are at the field, so we're just going to seed field 4. So we've already prepped it. It's been limed, it's been ploughed already, but we can cultivate directly into it. But if we hadn't cultivated or ploughed, we'd still be able to do it with this seeder, so that is no problem. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drive up to the field, detect the field. We'll just hit reset just to make sure we're all good. And we're just going to hire the worker. Actually, we're in the wrong season, aren't we? So let's just double check the season for peas. So peas need to be planted in March. Okay, so we're actually in the harvest season. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip forward until the planting window, which looks to be February, and then we'll come back in. So I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so we've skipped ahead to March. So if we just check the crop growth calendar, you can see there peas can be planted in March and April and harvested in July, August, and September. Alright, so we're all set, ready to go. So what we're going to do is get a worker to do this for us. So let's detect the field. Let's quickly reset, work the headlands on. Okay, hire the worker, and we'll let this guy do their thing. So we'll just check that out initially. So what I do is jump out. So it looks like they're going to start from the middle. Now obviously you can do this yourself, but the worker will do it pretty efficiently. And we've got helper by turned on, so the seed level and the fertilizer level is not going to go down. So we've got peas growing, yield bonus 75, fertilized, needs a hoe. So we're going to have to weed that. Okay, that's fine. Alright, what we'll do is we'll get this seed in the ground and then we'll come back in. See you in a minute. Alright, so our seed's in the ground, so all we have to do now is take care of the weeds if we've got weeds turned on, apply our fertilization states as per normal, and then we'll come back in once the crop's grown. So I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, after 1 month, this is what the crop looks like. After 2 months, this is what the crop looks like. This is what the crop looks like after 3 months, and we've got 1 more month and it should be ready to harvest. So let's go 1 more month. Alright, here we are, month 4, I believe, and ready to harvest. So what we need to do now is get the pea harvester, and then we'll come back and we'll harvest these peas. So to get the pea harvester, in the base game, what you want to do is you want to come into your vehicle menu, come down to vegetables, and you want to find the pea harvester. So there's only one in the base game, which is this guy just here. So you can get it with a crawler track or with the wheels. So we're just going to go for crawler track as standard. We're just going to lease that, head over to the shop quickly, and here it is. So while we're driving over there, we'll take a quick look. So it's got rear wheel steering, pretty small working width, decent sized capacity it looks like. Let's have a look at the inside. Nice detail on the inside, 25 km/h top speed. I mean, very similar to the green bean harvester and to the spinach harvester, all the same brand. Now if you're watching this, there may be some mods available on the mod hub to increase your speed and capacity of your harvesters, but obviously in the base game this is all we've got, so this is what we're going to be using for the tutorial. So I'll head over to the field and we'll get started. I'll see you over there. Alright, here we are at the field, so we've got the harvester ready to go. got our crop ready to go. So all we're going to do is drive up to the field, and we're just going to hire a worker straight up for this purpose. Now you can do this by yourself, but just to save a bit of time, I'm going to use a worker. Hit OK, and let's just see what that is. They're probably going to drive out to the middle, I think, first, or they might start with the headland. Now obviously they're not going to get a crop destruction penalty because they're the worker, so if you were to do this, you would get the penalty and the crop would get destroyed, so just keep that in mind. Now let's just observe this animation as we go through. So pretty much that's all there is to it, really. So with this working speed and this working width, it's going to take a little while. So like I said before, there might be some mods available at the time of recording in the future, which will dramatically speed up the process. Alright, that's the harvester. We'll leave this guy run, and then we'll come back in once we're done. So I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so we're underway with the harvest. So we've got 2 loads. This is number 2. And what we've done is we've organised a auger wagon. One thing I will mention is if you try and unload directly into a trailer, if the trailer is too high, you won't be able to pipe out. Okay, so you can see the green conveyor belt there. We can't actually get up high enough to unload the peas, so you have to use something that's a little bit lower. So we're using the crop chaser vegetable cart. So this will do most of the vegetable crops, including peas. So even though it's pretty much the same height, it'll receive the crop, so you can see that there. So just something to be mindful of when you're doing pea harvesting. So the capacity for the harvester is quite low, around about 3,700 litres. So it is a bit of a process. So let's get this guy back on task. So I'm just going to hire the worker again. I'm going to jump into the auger wagon over here, and we'll unload into the bigger trailer we've got standing by. So let's just do that quickly. Alright, so if we go move bunk up like so, and then pull up alongside, we should be able to tip into the higher trailer. Yep. So that's one way to do it. And lower the bunk down, I'm assuming. Yep. So that's how you can load a high trailer. Okay, and obviously we can transport this to where we need to go. So first thing we're going to do is try and put it into our silo just up here, see if we can store it. So let's go and check that out. So if we drive over the point, we should get the overloading icon, which we do not. Okay, so you cannot store peas in your grain silo. Makes sense. Right, next thing, what do you do with peas once you've got them? So obviously you can sell them. So if you want to sell them, come into the crop menu. So come into the crop menu, down to prices, and then we go find peas. So just here. So it tells you where you can sell them. So the canning factory, farmers market, Grand River silo, etc. So what we're going to do is we're not going to sell them because you can drive there and sell them like a standard crop. We're going to buy the canning factory and we're going to process them further. So let's have a look at the canning factory. So the canning factory is available in the factories menu under the build mode. So if we scroll down and look for the canning factory, I believe it is in here. So preserved food factory, that might be it. So takes goods and transforms them into different products. So 330,000, and you can see there peas are an input. So let's see if we can pop this down on the farm here, so we don't have to drive over to the canning factory. Actually, what I'm going to do is we're just going to pop it down here, and where's the pallet spawn? So the pallet spawn's out the back. Okay, so we're just going to pop that down here. There we go. Canning factory is available, so let's drive over to it, and then we'll have a quick explanation on how this works. Alright, so this is the canning factory. So there's 2 options for the canning factory. So there's obviously this guy that you can place down on your farm. But if you go out to the big map and you come over to this area here on Riverbend Springs, you can see there's a canning factory there as well. So if we go and visit it, now I've already purchased this, so we already own it. But you'd come up to this point, hit buy now, and then you own the production point. So rather than putting it down on your farmland, you can buy the one that's on the map. Okay, so it's obviously up to you what you want to do there, but we've done both here. So all we're going to do is drive our peas over the input like so. We should get the overloading. Yep, dump peas. So let's dump those peas in. Alright, peas are in. We need to go find the production menu. So if we walk around, what we're looking for is this guy here, the little wrench icon. So you can get to it from here. and you can also get to it from your productions menu, what you own. It'll get you to the same place. So here we are. All right, so canned peas is one thing that we can make. Let's just see what else we've got, and that's it. So basically your peas can be sold raw, or you can turn them into canned peas. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate that by pushing X, deactivate, press X again, so activate, and it'll light up. Change the output mode, so we're going to have storing. So when we store them, what they're going to do is they're going to appear here as pallets, okay? If we go to selling, it'll sell them automatically, but you do get an auto sell penalty. So for whatever, it's like 30 or 40%, I can't remember the exact figure, but you do take a bit of a hit there. Distributing will send them to another production chain if that's available, okay? But as far as I'm aware, peas don't have a standard base game production chain step. It's basically peas turn into canned peas, and that's the end of the production. So we're going to go storing. Let's just make sure we're active and everything's underway. Checking our inputs. So peas should be in there. So we're at 7,000 liters of peas. So our inputs are correct. So all we've got to do now is go ahead and sleep for 1 day. We can speed up time and the pallets will appear. So I'm just going to go back to the farmhouse, sleep until August, and see how many pallets we get. So I'll come back in once we've done that. Right, here we go. So August, let's head back to the production point and see how many peas, canned peas we have. So there we go, canned peas, ready to sell. So that's them. All right, so and basically now what we do is you would load them up onto a trailer, take them for sale, that type of thing. So we check out the price of canned peas. So we come to the prices menu, go down to your commodities, and you want to find canned peas. And there you go. So 7,784 is the peak price, and the low of 7,759. So we're on easy economy here, so your numbers might be different based on the difficulty level you're playing. However, you can see there's not a huge drop in value in pea prices, and you get a pretty good increase in what they're worth over and above standard peas, which is about 3,000. So let's say double plus a little bit. So it's actually not too bad. All right, that's peas and producing peas. Let's move on. So there you have it, guys. Quick little intro guide on how to grow peas in Farming Simulator 25. If you like this video, leave a like on it. If you've got any questions, leave them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.